guys, we are unabandoning the abandoned FC. So we kind of bailed on this thing because the baffled pan that I have, the nice pan that I have that'll work for drifting, wouldn't fit with the engine mounts, and it was either kind of buy new mounts or make new mounts, and I was thinking about it, and it just kind of became much more involved of a project than I really intended from the beginning. So I kind of shelved it, was gonna sell it as a shell, but I've kind of changed my mind. We're gonna finish it. We're gonna finish it. I'll explain, but first I gotta try to drag this thing into the shop by myself, which might be a little tricky, so let's get to it. That should keep the wheel from turning back straight. Man, I gotta tell you, doing that thing by myself was a little tiring, I must admit. If I just had someone to steer, that would have been so much easier. At least I had a tow strap and a bash bar. Have you guys seen my new welding cart yet? So proud of this thing. All right, so here is the long and short of it for you guys. RX7 FC. It's got front and rear bash bars, it's caged, and that's really about all it's got going for it. Body's relatively straight. And it's got like turbo 2 brakes. So it came with this motor and this trans kind of disassembled. The plan was to put this motor and trans in there, junkyard turbo it, and see what the limits of a stock block are drifting. So we're going to take care of everything else, good cooling system, good fuel system, etc., and just see how much boost you can cram through a stock block LS and beat the crap out of it drifting. However, we ran into some complications. I put this Mass Motorsports pan on that I took out of my LS Miata when I did dry sump on that car, and basically it doesn't really clear the steering rack. So there's a few ways to go about that. We can make new mounts, we can modify the existing mounts or something like that. I originally didn't want to do that because my thoughts were I still wanted to do the kind of test LS turbo junkyard stuff, but I didn't want to do it in this car if it was going to be that crazy amount of work of redoing all the mounts and all that stuff. I figured I might as well build a 4-seat drift taxi making 500-600 horsepower turbo LS if I'm going to go through that much trouble. That was kind of my idea and my thoughts behind it. But I'm realizing that if I don't build this car, if I do build another drift car, I'm not going to be using that drivetrain, and it's not going to be a 4-seat drift car, not right now at least. If I build another drift car, it's going to be a car for Pro 2, something like a C5 or C6 Vet, you know, built with the idea of doing Pro 2 in mind. So if I get my license next year, you know, I have a car and I'm ready to go into Pro 2. So realistically, this drivetrain is just going to sit here and not do anything. The shell is just going to sit here and not do anything. So we might as well do what we can to put them together, get this thing running and driving, go thrash the hell out of it, see how it is, and then part ways with it or keep it or whatever we decide to do. But for now, we're gonna put this thing together. So first step is going to be fill the empty void that is under the hood where it doesn't have an engine. So I might have to extend these mounts. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something and we're gonna make it work. So let's get to it. So what needs to happen here is we either need to bring this mounting point up, and the thing is we need to bring it up vertically. We can't go up this way because that'll just make a tighter tolerance between the two sides of the engine. We need to go straight up, or we need to drop the steering rack down, which, I mean, looking at it, there's room where it mounts there. You know, I can chop these mounts and re-weld them, you know, maybe 15 mil further down, but kind of the head of the rack here is hitting the sub, pretty much like up against the subframe already. So it'd have to go down and rotate forward, which I don't know that that's the best idea. Might end up screwing with some of the steering geometry doing that, which I prefer not to do. I think my best bet would be to chop these up and extend them. Just got to think of a good stout way to do that. I can't say they're the stoutest looking mounts I've ever seen to begin with, so I won't feel too bad. But yeah, okay, so I'm gonna ponder, and then we'll get to work. Start doing something. We're gonna make this work, one way or another. That engine and trans are going in the car in this video. We're doing it. All right, so we're gonna just pull the mounts out of the car entirely. I think it'll be a lot easier to cut them and stuff. Once we cut them, test fit the engine in and try to figure out and tack where it needs to go. I don't know. First step, we're gonna pull them out. Cars with no weight in them take forever to come down. At least the windshield's cracked, so we don't have to worry about messing it up, and we can do the Honda hood mod. It's crazy how heavy every other car's hood is besides the Miata. Miata hoods are so light because they're aluminum. So here is what we're working with. We got to pull both those hard lines out that go through the mount there. See if I can't twist it forward to get to the last bolt of the motor. Success! Got it out. Getting it back in might be a little trickier. Okay, so first thing I want to do is bend this back flat. It got a little bent up just for multiple reasons, so I want to bend it back straight. All right, that's looking pretty flat. Little bow in the middle, but not bad. Then we just want that side and that side to be even. We need to find the angle of this so we don't lose it. We don't want to lose the angle when we cut this and we don't have any reference points. So let's do that. I did order an angle finder, however, we'll be here till tomorrow, so doesn't really help us here. Okay, so using this tells me we're at about 37 degrees because that's 35, 40 was too much. It looks like we're realistically about 37 degrees as far as going off of this face here. That'll keep us in the ballpark. It's not a huge deal if it's off a few. It'll just made up to the mounts on the engine better if it's the correct angle. So try to keep it as correct as possible. Siding will be my first time using the new welding cart. Whoops. Crank this thing up to, I don't know, 40 amps. Should be good. All right, that was about as messy as I intended or expected. I'm gonna try to cut this other side on the bandsaw, if at all possible. Okay, I'll be honest. That's kind of what I originally intended on doing, and then I just got overexcited about using my new welding cart and the plasma cutter on the cart, and yeah. Definitely should have done that from the start, but whatever. Not a big deal either way, really. For comparison though, plasma cut side, bandsaw cut side. Oh man, it doesn't really matter for how we're gonna modify this, but we got it done. Man, that water cooler is loud. All right, so we got this side built. I am gonna put a plate in the front here. This material that I'm using, this flat bar, is significantly thicker than this base material, so I don't have any strength concerns. I think it'll be fine once it's all welded up. I made it full length, that way we can weld them all the way down. Should be good. Fitment is really the main thing. I went up basically 25 mil, kept the same angle. So what we need to do now is build the other side out and then test fit this with the engine. That's my plan. And then, you know, if it's too low, I can cut these tacks and slide it up and then weld this bottom higher or lower or whatever I need to do, and just kind of leave this the same. So I might go ahead and actually weld this out just to make sure it doesn't break apart when we're trying to test fit it. We'll leave it, we'll leave it. Build this other side. All right, motor mounts are done. Well, the test fit version. So obviously we'll clean this up a bunch once we have everything finalized, gonna fit. If we can bolt the engine in on both sides, we know we're good. We can weld it out and finish it up. But for just throwing this together real quick out of some flat bar, I'm pretty happy with how they came out. I think the angles and everything are all good. Let's try it out. Fingers crossed, wish me luck that this fits. Funny, I always start projects out wearing gloves, and then somewhere along the way, forget to put them on, and then there's no point. All right, so we're missing the bolt on this side. It's a pain to get in because it goes under the steering rack, so you gotta really snake it in there. So I'm just gonna leave that one out. It's where it needs to be. All the other bolts are in, so that should be good enough to let us know, you know, if this height and angle is gonna work. So let's try to drop the engine in here. So I made a mistake trying to use this kind of like carb plate with this hoist, because Ben shortened the chain way up on this hoist. So there's just not enough flex, like the engine can't rotate, it runs into the arm. So I'm like real close to it going in, but it's probably not gonna go in like this. Gotta pull it out again, drop it down, put the chain on it, and lift it up that way, I think. Putting an engine in is a fine balancing act between the height here and the angle here, which doesn't get so important once you get closer, because you have the jack. You put a jack under the tail housing of the trans, and it's basically, you want to kind of come in like this. So as you're lowering the front, you want to bring the jack up, and kind of, easier said than done, but the jack is crucial. Now we're in kind of a weird situation, because basically to be far back on the chain to get this angle, the engine is at a sideways angle. So I need to try to roughly set it down so I can move forward to more center on the chain. We got it kind of over this now. All right, wherever that is enough. Let's try that. There we go. A little sketchy, but I'm just worried about breaking these mounts. They're barely tacked together. All right, well, we're right over the engine mounts. All right, I've got one side in, this side over here. I do have faith I'll be able to get this other side in, but what's really annoying about this mount setup is you put a bolt in through the plate into the motor mount. You think about threading something through a hole, if there's any pitch, it's impossible to get the threads lined up. So you have to get the trans exactly level, the motor level left to right, the motor level, you know, this way. Everything has to be perfect for this to want to thread in. It's so silly. Time I might go get some studs and just like thread them in and then have a stud to drop in. That'd be so much easier. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. Hopefully I can get this one in, and that will be mission successful for our test fitting. Also, like, just trying to figure out where the hole is incredibly difficult. I think we've got thread engagement. All right, well, that's a motor in, ladies and gents. That is it. That is an installed LS. The mount revision worked. Might run into some hood clearance issues, but I don't know. I still think we might be okay. Especially if we pitch the trans up a good bit, which it should be up a good bit from where it is now. Sweet! First try mount redesign. So check this out. Before, our issue was the oil pan hitting the steering rack. You can see, I mean, it's literally hairs away now. The mount's raised basically a little, an inch and an eighth. So there is no way this thing was fitting before. I guess the rack isn't completely bolted in either. That might bring it down a little bit, but still, it fits. I'm happy. Time for the mounts. All right, got it out. Like I said, just gotta weld it up. I need to cut out pieces for here and here in the front to weld those in, but really it's just gonna be welding it out. I'm gonna weld it outside and inside and just do as much welding as I can, give it as much support as possible. At least now we know it fits. That was my main concern. I didn't want to go through all the welding trouble and then find out that we were like 5 mil off from it fitting. So now we know. That's good. So let's get this puppy welded up. All right, so I just quickly hammered out some TIG welds on this side. Didn't try to go crazy making it look pretty because there's a lot of them. The biggest problem is this metal being painted and dirty. I'll light up the arc and then paint will fly off into the tungsten and contaminate it immediately. So it's kind of a mess. And because of that, and just because for funsies, I'm gonna MIG weld this side. Actually, that would have been a much better side to MIG weld because I've got this like edge to edge joint here, but should be fun. I haven't MIG welded anything serious in a while, so I don't know. It'll be fun and give me another excuse to use my welding cart. It'll be like the plasma cutter versus the bandsaw. It'll be a man weld versus a good weld. Man, I forget how freaking easy MIG welding is once you get used to TIG welding. Ignore the mess in there from me getting the welder set up, but I mean, like, I should really just MIG weld stuff that doesn't need to be TIG welded because I can make it look nicer than I can with TIG. I just like TIG welding, and I like the practice. I like, you know, the repetition, the seat time of just TIG welding over and over. I feel like that's the only way to really get better is to just do it. But it's like the MIG comes out so much more professional looking. I mean, the TIG's not that bad. The TIG, you just see any and every little mistake. but you can keep the beads so much smaller and be way more precise. But MIG, you can just fly through it. It took like half the time, mainly because you don't have to set up. With TIG, I've got to get it in just the right spot to where I can get both hands and get the rod in from one side and whatever. MIG, you just like, I had it on my shoulder at one point while I was welding the underside. Cake. All right, cool. That thing is welded back up completely. There's the MIG side. There's the TIG side. I'm gonna grind it down some, just smooth it out, smooth out the rough edges, and then paint it. Beautiful. All right, well, we got some sunshine. It's time to get this engine in the car. Marco's coming over. He's buying some Miata parts from Ben, so I'm just gonna wait till he's here and have him help me toss it in. It was a little bit of a struggle by myself, just because if you ever used an engine hoist, they do not like to move. They always like to go the wrong way. Whatever way you need to push them, the wheels are turned the other way. It's just how it works. So it's nice to have two people, one to kind of stabilize the motor while the other person jiggles the hoist around. Oh, also, I took my 206 cart to the track today. That was really fun. Tried to get more confident in the cart and learn the limits and try different things and see, you know, what was improving or slowing me down and all that. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, bring this thing down and let's start getting this engine back in. Oh, and here's the mounts turned out. They came together good. I really wasn't trying to go crazy with these and make them beautiful and perfect because they're just engine mounts. I just wanted to get it done, and for just slamming it together, I'm happy with how they came out. You would hardly tell that they were even modified. So sweet, enough jibber jabber, let's get this motor in the car. All right, let's get these mounts in. All right, got the new, I keep wanting to call it a subframe. Got the new modified mounts in. They look right at home in there. Everything bolted up good. So yeah, getting these power steering lines in was a freaking pain, man. Just getting them to thread was not fun. Yeah, do the pointing for me, Marco. Marco's here, by the way. Did you say hi yet? I don't think so. Say hi, Marco. I'm so used to working by myself. It's weird. I feel like I've gotten way less done.
I'm losing my voice. I can't talk.
Because I get distracted.
But it's fun.
It is more fun. All right, engine's going in for the final time. Potentially, maybe, hopefully. Swing her on in there, boss. It's so much easier with another person here. Let me move this. Probably gonna have to surf it in a little.
That's it, stop. Go. That's it, forward. Hey, you trying to scare me?
Sorry.
It worked.
And we're passing courses worked in the sun.
Far to get that pass. Huh? There you go. Slowly. Go. Stop. Go look at that. Go forward.
We need to get the jack over there in a second.
I'm just saying, I can't see that side.
Okay.
Woo! Why are you so crazy?
Alright, now we need the jack. When you go down just a tiny bit. Okay, mine started. So now we can go up a little bit so you can see where yours is.
Almost.
Which way? There, I can pull the jack towards me.
I got it, I got it.
Got it? Look at that! Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's tiny though.
No, I'm stoked, dude. This was like impossible to do last time. I definitely could have not extended the mounts as far as I did. I could have gone a little less crazy with that.
Oh,
but
that's good. That doesn't even look that high. Look at this.
yeah, now it's clear.
This is still lower than my car.
And the jack's not even, you know, the back, the transit isn't as high as it would be. Can you lower it down there so like? Look at that, guys. The engine is in, and there's clearance.
We'll go down.
From the, yeah, you're good. From the oil pan to the steering rack. Like I said, definitely didn't have to go quite this high. But with the engine that far back, I don't think it's gonna cause any issues.
Yeah, now, guess what? You can slam the car and you don't have to worry about your oil pan, your transmission.
I mean, that is true. That is true.
This transmission is huge.
I'm stoked though.
It's a perfect height.
Yeah.
Look underneath. Won't raise the car.
Yeah, raise the car. I am stoked. For relatively eyeballing that mount modification, I'm very happy with the fitment. It went in no problem this time. With 2 of us here, I mean, that was cake.
I mean, Oni could have helped you. That was too easy.
That's true. That's true. I'm stoked. All right, cool.
How you do it? Stop it. Stop it. Stop. You're a savage. You have the jack. Is it up there?
No, we just got my hand. I have it somewhere.
I'm just trying not to die today. I love this tranny mount situation. What?
Marco came up with an ingenious idea. Send it.
Send it.
There we go. All right, slow down.
Nice and easy peasy. Jeez.
Easy, easy. All right, go ahead. Oh, no.
Oh no.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. I see you doing it.
Hell yeah. Drop it down. Drop it down. Let's make it official. Boom! Motor and trans is in the car. I'm hyped, dude. I'm hyped.
Here, brother, we got a V8.
You can see
Perfect height.
the pan is like just above the subframe, which is good.
I mean, that's my hand, so I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's like literally probably maybe
by
a quarter
raising
inch.
it the amount you did, you're protecting your pan,
Yeah.
which is the most important thing, and your trans, because that thing is really low.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sweet. So that fits really good. I'm really happy. I'm so happy. We got the trans mount on. Engine officially in. Ooh, now let's see if we can get the long tubes in.
What's a long tube?
They're in the car. We gotta shut the car down. I packed this thing full when I was reorganizing my shelves over there, since I was gonna sell it, and yeah, so we had to put gloves on because these are the itchiest headers in the world. Seriously, dude, I itch for like days. If any part of this thing touches me,
Got it?
yeah, I got it. I end up itching. So anyway, we're gonna see if we can get these in without too much trouble. They were in here when I bought the car, or got the car, but the trans wasn't in there. That looks like there's a lot of room down there. We'll find out. They're on up. Oh, I'm already getting itchy, dude. All right. Okay, careful, careful, easy, killer. Oh, that's beautiful, dude. That's in there like, I forgot the bolts. Hold it. Hold it.
Come on!
Hold it. All right. Bring it on up, son. And I think we're there. Just gotta get the bolt threaded. All right, got one in. Boom. All right, you can let go. Man, I gotta admit, that's pretty easy. I gotta give RX7's credit. The steering shaft, like, it's like it was meant for headers. It just goes out of the way.
Oh, it does.
We got the starter on this side though, so we'll see if this side's a challenge or not.
It looks like putting the camera down is a challenge.
It is a little bit. Oh no, not bad at all, dude.
Just like my S13.
Oh, hold on. I gotta pull this out.
You forgot the bolts?
No. I mean, yes, but that wasn't what I was stopping you for. I was just pulling the dipstick tube out. Okay, yeah, hold.
God dang it.
We rushed straight from one to the other. We were hustling, so I didn't go grab the bolts in between our move from what you saw me go from one side to the other. Did you see me grab bolts? See if it's like it's hitting because the engine's higher up now. Damn it! It seems like it's hitting the trans tunnel.
Oh, where's this leg?
Yeah, we gotta pull it out and hammer that. We'll be back after this commercial break of hammering.
Ow.
That worked. I'm happy with that, man. I'm happy, very, very happy. The engine fits good, the trans fits good. The engine, when I got the car, was bolted in the front holes of those 2 holes on the mounts, and it was pretty far forward, and it caused some weirdness. So having it further back, like it's nice and tight back here. It's freaking sweet, man. Freaking sweet. So the only thing I forgot was I meant to do this while the engine was out, and I totally forgot about it. Stud was broken off there. So I might have to pull this header off at some point and fix that. It's easy with a TIG welder. You just weld onto it and you can grab it with pliers, but we'll deal with that later.
I will tell you, at least that's the easiest bolt to do.
Yeah, I could honestly do it in the car.
Yeah.
Just pull the header out and do it in the car, no problem. So anyway, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. It's kind of cool feeling that, you know, I gave up on this project because I was thinking I was gonna have to buy new engine mounts, like a whole new mount kit and new drive shaft and all this stuff. And I just wasn't worth it at that point, and I was able to just take what I had, use some metal I had, use welding, and make mounts that work, and get the engine off the steering rack and have clearance, and now it fits, and it's freaking bolted up. So next time we'll be doing drive shaft, diff and axles, exhaust, maybe throw the wiring in here and try to fire up. So for now though, I think that's enough work to get done. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Say bye, Marco.
Adios.